Happy Frugal Friday, friends. Today we've got two very important things on our agenda. One, it's to talk about our word of the year. And two, it's to kick off No Spend January. This is one of my favorite videos of the entire year. And it just dawned on me that actually this is my 10th year of picking a word of the year. What I like to do is share a quick recap of years past, because if this is a new video for you, you might be like, what's the point of having a word of the year? And you might have no clue what you want your word to be. So I'm going to give you some ideas of what I've done in the past, and that might click for you like, oh, I want that. Or some of you have already shared your words of the year for 2026, and I'm so excited to get started. So without further ado, let's talk about why do we have a word of the year? This is an opportunity to set the tone for the kind of year you want. There's nothing worse than getting to the end of the year and being like, I didn't accomplish anything and I did not have the year I wanted. So if you give an undeniable word that is going to motivate you, it's going to make your year better. In 2017, my word was prepare. I was still living in the apartment that I lived in when I moved back up to Maine from Florida, and I was preparing for something greater. And that was a really good year. 2017 was a good one. 2018, my word was invest. I was determined to be working relentlessly on saving for a down payment for my house. Daycare payments were coming to an end because that is when Kaden started kindergarten. And I started actually actively investing like in my Roth IRA. 2019, my word was impact. That is when I started this channel consistently. That's when I started making content consistently for you. And that is the first year that I maxed out my Roth IRA for the first time. 2020 was be brave. That is when I purchased this house. That was a big year. That was a big deal. 2021, my word was vibrant. I was trying to live out loud more. I was trying to be more alive, feel more alive and do things. I went on my first Disney vacation in a long time at that point. That was, I remember that being a big thing that year. 2022, simplify. 2023, focus, eyes on the prize. 2024, elevate. I was trying to elevate everything in my life to make it more quality and really appreciate what I had and bring it to a new level. 2025, this past year, my word was alignment. And many of you have been asking how that went. I'm happy to share. I had to reverse my mindset of I need to do more. I need to do more. As you know, I'm a single parent trying to raise my son, and I had a lot of jobs, and I, at the end of 2024, was burned out. I got really sick around the holidays, and I knew in 2025, I had to make some adjustments. The biggest adjustment I actually made was I was teaching dance one night a week, but for 4 hours, because if I was gonna go there, I might as well go hard or go home. At the time, I was thinking, I don't want to stop teaching dance. I want to do more. Of course, always wanting to do more. And what was happening was that day was really long for me, right? So that was like I would leave my house early in the morning and not get back till late at night. Kaden was luckily young and energetic, but even him, like it was too much. And I knew that that had to come to a close when recital season was over. Recitals in June. So I knew I had to do 6 months because I was committed. But in June, I knew something had to change because I was making myself sick. And it's not just, okay, like you think, oh, well, it's just 4 hours. When you teach a class, you've got to have an agenda. I don't just go in and, wing it. I had like ballet exercises prepared for the bar and choreography for our recital numbers that we were working on and combinations to help work on their skills. And beyond that, it was text messages from parents, students. Then there was group text messages from our staff when we were trying to arrange private lesson rehearsal schedules. There was just a lot more. Besides those 4 hours that I was doing, those are the 4 hours I was getting paid for, but there were hours of prep work and follow-up work, and there was just so much extra that goes into teaching 4 classes that it was all those little things were adding up and taking away from my daily life. I have a full-time job, my son, trying to raise him and try to like stay in a good mood with everything, and I took on too much, right? So a big part of my alignment was aligning the goal of not being so stressed all the time and living kind of like that simpler, more aligned with what I wanted my results to be, making that happen. And that helped immensely. And I still choreograph for that studio that I love. I still choreograph a group number and a couple solos and duets to stay in it. And that has just lightened up the load. So I'm still in it, but I'm not fully having a lot more on my plate. I hope that makes sense. Going into 2026, I need something bigger now because alignment was exactly what I needed to get my actions in line with my needs. However, I feel like as of lately, I'm just playing a little too small. I need to go a little bigger, and I need to remember who I am. And for that reason, my word for 2026 is unstoppable. There's a song by Sia that when I hear that song, something in me rises up. If you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about. And that's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like I've been like, not laying low, but a little, and playing small. And I've got to knock it out of the park this year in a way that feels good to me. And I don't even know exactly what that's going to look like, but it's coming and I feel it rising up. And I hope that when you're picking your word, it gives you strength, it gives you direction, and it makes you feel the way you want to feel. And I want to feel unstoppable this year. I know what I've been through, in the last few years and beyond. And I know that I can do anything I put my mind to. And I want you guys to feel that way too. If anyone wants to join me in an unstoppable year, play that song and get fired up. If that is not your vibe for this year, go with what you want to feel. Maybe you guys are stressed out and you want to live with less. Maybe you're looking for courage to do something and you want courage. Maybe you have a goal that there's a certain word that brings that feeling to you. Peace, focus, whatever it is. Pick a word that feels good and kind of makes you smile because you know that's your focus. And this is a word, by the way, when I picked the word unstoppable, I keep seeing the word unstoppable everywhere. Because at one point I'm like, is this my word? And it's showing up everywhere. So I'm like, this is the word. This is it. I'm feeling it. It's in my bones. This is the one for me this year. In order to be unstoppable, I'll talk more about that later, but I'm going to set some standards for this year so that I don't play small. I'm going to get a little strict in some areas because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's Catholic school. I just feel like sometimes I really do well with rules and guidelines and standards for myself. And I will be working on that. This is going to be a work in progress. It's not easy to raise the standards, to set standards that really focus on what you want. But guys, let's not play small in 2026. Let's do this. Okay, so one tool that we're all going to utilize that are interested in No Spend January is participating in No Spend January so that we start setting the tone for a year that is reflective of our goals. When you do No Spend January, we are deciding that we don't want to spend our money on junk that doesn't get us anywhere, doesn't bring us any joy, doesn't move the needle in any way. Forget about that. We're done with that. Leave that in 2025. 2026, you want to make some progress in your finances so that you get where you want to go. Me, as always, my goal is paying off my 30-year mortgage in 10 years. That's my goal. When I took on the mortgage, I knew that I was not going to take 30 years, but I wanted that rate, and I knew I was going to throw more at it as often as humanly possible. And I'm hoping to take you on that journey of the final payoff, which is still a couple years away, but I'm going to be aggressively working on that. My goal at the end of No Spend January is to take a lump sum and throw it at the mortgage. I know that does not sound exciting. Some of you are like, I'm saving it for vacation, but I'm saving it for my debt because that's the only debt I have, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate having debt over my head. Once I got rid of my credit card debt and my car debt and student loans back then, I just thought, I don't like that hanging over my head, and I'm determined, okay? So I like to fantasize about the idea of taking that money that I put toward the mortgage, which is obviously my biggest bill every month, and having it to do whatever the heck I want. Can you imagine? Some of you have already paid off your mortgage and you're already there, but imagine not having a rent or a mortgage payment. Yes, you still have to pay taxes, I get it, but that is a big lump sum that I can use for other things. And I can't even wrap my head around it. When I get there, I'll let you know what I will do from there. But anyway, for you, I'm talking to you, what are you gonna do with your No Spend January reapings? Like, what are you going to do with the money that you save? You've gotta think about what is the irresistible result so that you get excited about doing this. Because some people literally on day 2 are like, I'm out, I spent money. And I'm like, no. Guys, this is for a whole month. And it's not as bad as you think. Ask anyone on here that has done it. It's not like that. And again, you make your own rules. Get excited about an irresistible result. Even if it's paying off debt, that's a big deal. Somebody just shared in the comments yesterday that right before the new year here, they just paid off a student loan. That feels good. Someone else just paid off their car. That feels good. Some of you are also attacking your mortgage. These kinds of things will take the pressure off of you later, and it's worth the push, in my opinion. If you have never done No Spend January, start thinking about, I think primarily about weekends, because I feel like that's when people are more tempted, but maybe you are tempted to shop during the week. Me personally, I work a lot, so I don't have really time to think about that beyond, like, I'm working all week and I'm not trying to think of ways to spend at nighttime, but food is a problem, right? Food is a problem if you haven't grocery shopped. Oh, just threw my pen on the ground. Grocery shopping obviously is part of No Spend January. You have to get your groceries, and you got to cook from home. You got to make stuff at home. You got to bring your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. It's going to be interesting when you start doing that, if you haven't been doing that, how much money you're going to save. Going out to eat costs a lot, and making your food at home will probably be a healthier choice and save you a ton. Think about something that you can do each week that's going to get you closer to your goal. Think about decluttering a space or spaces in your home during this time, donating the things that you no longer are using and maybe someone else can use, selling anything that you no longer need and could make a little extra money from. Think about picking out a book of your stack of books that you have been neglecting. Pick one and choose to read it this month. Adopt drinking more water and less sugary drinks. Think about moving more, maybe trying to get a 30-minute walk in a day. Think about home exercises you can do if you're trying to get fit. Push-ups, if you've got some dumbbells, just things you can do at home if you've got your walking pad, or just go outside if your weather's nice. Think about anything you want to learn online, on YouTube, free apps. There's so much to learn. You could start a new hobby. If you ever wanted to learn ballet, but you were too nervous to go in the studio, there's tons of YouTube free videos. You could learn some basic ballet bar. It's so good for your body. It'll feel great. That's just an example. Take time this month to really reflect and think, what is important to me? What do I want this year? And then do something every week that gets you closer to that, instead of spending it all scrolling forever on various apps that really get you nowhere. If you're looking at it for, for fun a little bit, maybe just minimize that a little bit. I could watch TV, guys, for days if you let me. I love watching streaming services. So I'm going to try to get off of that a little bit more, because that's a thing that I really enjoy. I'm going to still do part of it, but I'm not going to do it probably as much. I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit. If you find yourself in a scroll hole for too long on various, social media apps, maybe just reduce that. Maybe flip it to things that are going to educate you more or get you motivated. But sometimes just mindless scrolling for hours and hours, you really can get sucked in and waste a lot of time. And sometimes it's great to spend a little mindless time, of course, but just be aware of it. Am I doing too much? Could I reduce this a little bit? What would I rather be doing? Kind of like with your money right now, right? In January, we're thinking about, what do I really want to do with this money? Instead of wasting it on takeout because you just didn't feel like making anything, like, what could you be using this money for that's going to propel you in 2026 in the direction that make you proud of your finances? If you watch this channel and you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that I want to make you confident in your finances. I don't want you to feel out of control. I don't want you to feel like you don't know where your money is going. That's the whole point of this channel, is to tell your money where to go. It's to make the most of your resources, your time, your money, and your energy. I want you to be proud of your financial habits and not be shameful and not be embarrassed and not be fearful of money. Because some people don't know how to manage their money, and that's why I'm here. I'm trying to help you on an everyday, daily, weekly, monthly basis, how to manage your money better and how to be proud of yourself. This is going to be your year, 2026. If you're here with us, this is going to be your year. Okay, so really quickly, take a second and just think, how can I help you best this month? I'm going to increase my posts. So you see, like, I have my videos tab, my live tab, playlist, the one that says posts. I'm going to be posting many more posts to help keep you motivated and keep this in the forefront of your mind, because that's important when you're trying to stick to a goal, is to think about it often so that it doesn't get swept under the rug and forget about it, right? So what would help you? Posts, shorts, more videos. Let me know what would help you the best, and let me know the topics that you're really interested in this month so I can keep you occupied and having fun, because I truly believe frugal living is fun living. Let me know what I can do to help you the most. And also let me know, what is your word of the year? I can't wait to read them and get excited with you. And again, it gives other people ideas for what they want their word to be. So don't be shy in the comments. Here we go, guys. No Spend January is in session. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.